Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're happy to have all of you here for Kabbalat Shabbat to receive Shabbat together, and for all the folks who are streaming on the Temple YouTube channel. We're happy that you are joining us as well. This is probably not the last time tonight that we will send out a refuah shlema, a get well wish to our cantorial soloist, Sarah Avner, who just lost her voice.
Yeah, she's had laryngitis, and it's
pretty much all week. Yeah,
so not coming back.
So sing loud. You have the two of us to to sing with.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be awesome. And yeah, we're gonna speaking of singing, move into our opening song, Hine Ma Tov U'Manayim. How good and how pleasant it is for us to be together. If you have a Siddur, a copy of the prayer book, it's on page 128, or you can just follow on the slides.
Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov u'manayim. Shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov u'manayim. Shevet achim gam yachad, hine ma tov u'manayim. Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, yadadai, yadadadadadai. Hine ma tov, yadadai, yadadadadadai. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is to be together with all of you. It is wonderful to see so many people in our congregation, and I know that for all of us who are members here, we hope that everybody has a nice Shabbat, and one way to do that is to greet one another with a Shabbat Shalom. So take a moment to say hello to those around you, and make sure everyone gets to hear Shabbat Shalom. I feel like if we had been in the parking lot, this would have been the end of the service. Everybody would have just been talking to one another. So we're going to move now to page 126 as Rabbi Fulberg takes us away with this intro reading.
Let's all join together. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, and my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. So at this time, in anticipation of a wonderful celebration of a bar bat mitzvah coming of age tomorrow morning, we want to invite Dan and Elizabeth and Ben and William and Catherine to come on up and light our Shabbat candles for us. Come on up. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. So now we are going to offer a blessing for all the people that we love. When we were back in our sanctuary, we would always call all the kids who were not yet bar bat mitzvah to come on up and stand under a talit, and we would hold it over them. And we're still going to do that. So, you guys want to come on the side?
Dan, you're going to take that side.
Anybody who's taller than I am.
I'm just too tall.
All right.
Really go under.
You guys look awesome. So we're going to offer this blessing, and you can offer it for them because they're really cute, and you can also. Are you embarrassed now? And you can offer it for anybody that you love, maybe somebody you're sitting with. So it goes like this: Hayu asher tihiyu v'hiyu bruchim ba'asher tihiyu, which means be who you are, and may you be blessed in all that you are, and as well. Based on ancient words from Torah, Yivarechechem Adonai v'yishmerechem, may God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elechem v'chunechem, may God's light shine upon you and may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elechem v'yasem lachem shalom, may you feel God's presence within you always and may you find peace. And we say,
Amen.
Amen. We continue with kiddush, welcoming Shabbat further with the blessing over the wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen, amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu, baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. We're going to continue with the singing of Shalom Aleichem. The words mean peace to you, ministering angels, angels of the Most High, from the Holy Blessed One. May we draw life and strength and safety and peace from this Shabbat. We'll join in singing together. Please join with me. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Chuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitechem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We'll move now to Chatzi Kaddish as we prepare for the next section of our service, page 144. Yitgadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizmahan kariv ve'yimeru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam ulal me'almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, ve'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, ve'yitadar, ve'yitale, ve'yitalal, shemei dekudesha, brichu, le'elam min kol berchata ve'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma ve'yimeru. Amen.
Please rise. As we turn to page 146 for the Barhu. Barhu et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. We continue on page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. We continue on page 150. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down, we will rejoice meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. We continue with the Ve'ahavta on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol modecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'elech asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al-levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta ba'am v'shiftecha b'veitecha uv'lektecha v'aderech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'kshartam leot al yadecha והיו לטוטפות בעיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We continue on page 159. Sing the song of humankind, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Please join us in singing Micha Mocha on page 158. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osef elei, Nora tehilot osef elei.
Malachutecha ra'u v'anecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'ameru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed.
We continue on page 160. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporeis sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Please rise. As we turn to page 164 for the Amidah, continuing on the even-numbered pages. Wait. Nai sifatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Velohei Avotenu V'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Vikonei hako, vizocher chasti avot v'imahot, umevigo laliv nevinehem, laman shemo be'ahava. Melech ozir u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor leolam Adonai, mechaye hakol ata rav lohosia, mashiv haruach umorid hagashem, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayel hakol birachamim rabim, somech noflim virofei cholim, umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Micha mocha bal gevurot umidom melach. Melech memit umechaye umatzmiah Yeshua. V'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol. Baruch ata Adonai mehaye hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh ukadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch ata Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
We take some time now in stillness that we might feel and hear what is deepest and truest in our hearts and offer that as our own silent prayer. When you feel like your personal prayer is finished, feel free to be seated.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol Shalom, ki ata hu melech Adon, lechol ha-shalom. Shalom Rav ha-Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav ha-Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
We turn our thoughts now to not only those in the midst of our greater temple family who are ill, but to our own experiences of how frightening and isolating illness can be. And we hope that all of those whose names we mention now aloud and those that we will mention in just a moment will find the strength and the support and the love and the skill that they need to move toward a refuah shlema, a complete healing. Tonight we mention first the names of Constance O'Hearn, Nancy Gray, Jai Edwards, Grace Love, Sally Adelson, Barbara Baden, Emily Baden, Ann Byron, Yvonne Carson, Betty Clark, Mel Cohen, Marilyn Croman, Ariel Srinchazi, Elaine Dond, Cindy Gartner, Olitha Griffin, Sandra Gross-Schulman, Louise Gurney, Jim Haley, Bob Jungert, Marilyn Kerman, Faraday Kermani, Betty Lichtenstein, Sally Lichtenstein, Zoe Lushanowski, Laura Maldonado, Gracie Miller, Maxine Orkabi, Ann Pepper, Gary Pico, Michael Pico, Ari Rachowski, Jim Roquet, Pam Scott, Faith Sievert, Gloria Strachey, Fran and Larry Unger, Kathy Walker, Lauren Wietrek. And as I look in your direction, if you wish to speak a name either aloud or in your heart of someone you're thinking of for healing, please feel free to do so. We carry our hopes and our prayers for their healing with these words of blessing, Baruch Atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, God, source of healing to those who are sick. And together we say, Amen. We'll sing Misha Berach by Debbie Friedman of blessed memory, these words of hope for healing. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBeracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
Before I begin tonight, a little birdie told me that somebody in here is celebrating their 80th birthday. Happy birthday, Stan. It was your daughter-in-law. She texted me during services to let me know. Not your son, your daughter-in-law. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Have you ever had one of those weeks where you needed to be extremely productive? You had a lot to accomplish, a to-do list that was about a mile long, and you had no motivation whatsoever to do any of it? Great. I'm really glad that's not just me. Well, for me, when I'm feeling particularly unmotivated, I will occasionally look at previous things I've accomplished so that it will encourage me or inspire me to get moving. It doesn't always work, but every once in a while I find myself plugging away at various tasks. I was feeling extremely distracted and somewhat unenthusiastic about completing any of the items on my to-do list earlier this week. So I went back to look at a list of books and resources that I compiled last year for our LJL students. At the very bottom of the list, Rabbi Folberg had added a fabulous and important suggestion. He wrote, "I recommend our LJL students steer clear of Jewish Twitter. The same gatekeeping and toxicity that pervades the larger platform is sadly mirrored in a lot of Jewish accounts. This includes posters who seem to specialize in trolling non-Orthodox converts. Avoid." I said that, you wrote it. I know. Honestly, though, this seems like good advice for all of us, not just LJL students. And as someone who has never been a Twitterer, I am not privy to all of the intense debates that occur on this particular social media platform. But even without an account, it's pretty evident that a lot of people who like to tweet out their every last thought don't necessarily consider the consequences of their actions. Does that sound accurate? Okay. In the past couple of weeks, a couple of prominent celebrities have posted anti-Semitic and dangerous language against the Jewish community. I won't repeat what they've said. I don't need to add fuel to their fire. And yes, I know that phrase seems callous, considering what our own community is commemorating this week. But I say it intentionally, because lest we forget, someone did try to burn our synagogue down a year ago. And if we don't talk about it, if we don't mention it, if we don't draw attention to this, people will forget that their words bring about dire consequences. The rise in anti-Semitism over the past few years, especially the incidences we've witnessed and experienced here in Austin, have left many of us filled with anger, with anguish, with anxiety, and with despair. Last year's fire left us displaced out of our sacred sanctuary. We found comfort here in our Smith Auditorium and then again at St. Matthew's Church during the High Holy Days. We found solace and strength in the thousands of people who reached out, who made donations, who spoke up and said that this act of violence and hatred will not be forgotten, that they will stand with us. But then, someone with a very broad and far-reaching platform, someone with millions upon millions of followers, says something so off base, so rage-inducing, so painful, and downright wrong. And that comfort and peace we found over the past year just slips away. And even if I would like to just avoid Twitter, and I do, since I don't have an account, so many others read it religiously, sharing and spreading the ignorant rantings of certain people. We can ignore it, and we can avoid it, but at some point we have to step up. We have to raise our voice against these outrageous remarks and stop the spread of incendiary language. I sometimes wonder what life was like for our ancestors pre-Twitter, for those who dared to live differently than others, to speak up for what they believed in. I think about Abraham, who we read in this week's Torah portion. He was living out the final years of his life in the same land that was his father's and his father's father, and all of the generations that came before him. It was the only place he knew. And one day, out of nowhere, God tells him to leave and go to a new land, a place that will be a blessing for him and his descendants, to create an entirely new life with new practices and new rituals. He takes his wife Sarai, and they head to the promised land, uncertain of what will come. If they encountered people on the journey, did those individuals question Abram's newfound faith? Did they tell others to ridicule Abram and Sarai, to oppress them, to make them feel less than? Did Abram and Sarai keep moving forward, standing up for their beliefs with silence? Or did they speak against those hurtful words? It's impossible to know what Abram and Sarai endured on this journey. It's impossible to know what later generations faced, what they experienced when meeting others in the world. We know that several hundred years after Abraham and Sarah established the foundation of our faith, a Pharaoh rose up in Egypt that did not know us, that feared us, that wanted to suppress and oppress our presence. He spoke out against us, and our ancestors became enslaved, enduring years of hard labor, harsh living conditions, misery, and pain. They suffered because someone in power decreed that we were not to be trusted. We cannot allow that to happen again. We can't do this work alone. We need people to stand with us, to share our burden just as we would for them. We need others with far-reaching platforms to speak up for us. I feel fortified and grateful for celebrities like Tyler Perry, who took to social media this week as well, telling the story of his own mother who worked as a teacher in a JCC years ago. His post describes the pain his mother endured when her JCC received a bomb threat, how disheartening and horrified she was, thinking that someone would want to blow up a building with children just because they were Jewish. Perry goes on to explain the important teachings his mother passed on to him about the alliance of the Black and Jewish communities over time. He said, "But in teaching me about all our common pains, she also taught me about the allies that Jewish people have been for Black people. Case in point, look at the founding members of the NAACP. It took allies to get us to a better place in this country, and those allies don't look like us." He concludes his post with this important statement: "No one makes it alone. Refuse hate." This week brought about difficult and challenging feelings for our community. As we continue to heal from the damage wrought by the arson 1 year ago, we also continue to find strength in those who support us, who stand with us, who speak for us, and speak up for us. In turn, we find strength and comfort with one another. Tonight, we celebrate Shabbat, we celebrate a soon-to-become bar mitzvah, and we celebrate as a thriving and joyful congregation. We will not let hatred bring us down, and we will not let hurtful and dangerous words overcome us. We are stronger together. We are proud. We are Jews. Abraham and Sarah hoped their descendants would be as numerous as the stars, and here we are. And we're not going anywhere. Ki nihi l'ratzon. Be this God's will. Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom. We're going to continue now with Aleinu, which is found on the inside back cover of your siddur or on the slides. I invite those who are able to please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gerula liotzer b'reishit, shehu asanu kishomrei ha'adama, vehu samanu kishlichei ha'torah, shehu sam chayenu itam, vegor aleinu im kol ha'olam, va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom Bayom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. As we pause now and think of all of our loved ones who are no longer with us, those we lost in recent days, as well as those whose yartzites, the anniversary of their death, are commemorated on this Shabbat. In the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of remembrance, we call to mind Shirley Leilchuk, aunt of Phil Baum, great-aunt of Alana, Jake, Brendan, and Natalie, great-great-aunt of Acadia, Ayelet, and Bannon. Cynthia Lerman, sister-in-law of Sue Billich, wife of Jerry of blessed memory, mother of Nick and Charlie. Laura Bubley, wife of Mark, mother of Jeff, Haley, Aaron, and Megan. Leonard Schwartz, husband of Sandy, father of Michelle Schwartz, father-in-law of Jesse Gordon, grandfather of Elliot and Mira Gordon. And those whose yartzites we remember on this Shabbat: Lily Adise, Therese Adler, Irving Feller, Louis Fowler, Alan Leon Gademack, Benjamin Gilbert, Milton R. Glazer, Edwin Golden, Hyman S. Golub, Rosalie Golub, Bessie Golub, Paul Gottlieb, Jack Greb, Mary Greenspan, Ida Harris, Sarah Eisenberg, Jack Lopez Klein, Marion Kravitz, Pola Kubuwitsky, Isidore Leff, Celia Lerman, Emmanuel Henry Mandelbaum, Esther C. Mann, Amelia Marks, Edward Meltz, William Moses, Sarah Newman, Gertrude Paul, Theodore Ted Robert Pear, Sarah Pico, Louis Plotsky, David E. Rosenthal, Fernando Salinas, Beverly Scarborough, Heidi Schmidt, David Schulder, Harry I. Smith, Louis J. Snyder, Warren Henry Stan, Howard Swedlow, Joseph Ward, Saul Walensky, Dave Wolf, Shirley Mishler Ziffer. As we hold those names in our hearts, we turn to Kadisha, tome found on page 598. I invite those who are able to please rise. As we join together, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala u'v'zman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudisha brichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, Amen. Zichronam livracha, may all of their memories be a blessing as together we say, Amen. Please be seated. Just a few quick announcements. First, I want to say a huge thank you to Aaron for being our tech person tonight. You're doing great, Aaron. Thank you. And thank you to Dr. Mamie Fong for making me sound a little less like a cat. I appreciate that. Tomorrow morning, Shabbat continues at 9 a.m. Tomorrow, Torah study will only be online. It will not be here. It will just be online. Where will it be, everyone? Online. Thank you. Somebody is going to show up tomorrow, and I'm going to say, please get your phone out and follow online. We're going to have our wonderful guest leader with Connie Haham, and then at 10:30, we will continue Shabbat services as we celebrate as Ben Aronson is called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah. That will be in person and online. Also tomorrow afternoon, we have our first Seudah Shlishit for the year with our fabulous member, author, and expert in Jewish folklore and gore, I guess we'll say that, John Baltusberger. So join tomorrow in the afternoon at 4:30. Also, please join with the Brotherhood and Sisterhood for lots of good food and drinks, and also to screen a movie from the Austin Jewish Film Festival tomorrow at 6:30. There's a lot going on this weekend. And then, of course, we you may or may not have noticed, but we are always blessed each Shabbat to have the presence of Travis County Sheriff's Department here with us that are helping to keep us safe. And so it is our pleasure and our honor to support their efforts with their toy drive every year with their Brown Santa. So please help us to help others, and in particular to help the Sheriff's Department who keeps us safe. So if you have any gifts that you can bring, we're collecting them here, and there's a whole long list of things that you can provide that would be a real blessing to someone else. With that, we are going to conclude with another blessing for all of you. It is Parashat Lech Lecha, so we are going to sing this oldie, but a goodie. Lechi Lach by Debbie Friedman.
Lechi Lach, to a land that I will show you. Lech Lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechi Lach,
On your
journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing. Lechi Lach, Lechi Lach,
and I
shall make your name great.
Lech
Lecha, and I shall praise your name. Lechi Lach,
to the place that I will
show you.
L'simchat
Chaim,
L'simchat
Chaim, L'simchat Chaim, Lechi Lach.
Shabbat,
Shabbat shalom.
Yes, so if you're here and you would like a challah, there are a few left over from the CDC people who don't take them every week. So please feel free. And also come say hi to us.
Come say hello. Shabbat shalom.